Hey, what's happening everyone? SirJames from Gamerfuzion.com, and in today's video I'm here to provide you with my review for Assassin's Creed The Ezio Collection, and all I gotta say is that right off the bat, this is a pretty good deal. Now what you get is the following items. You are getting 3 games, and of course 2 mini-films, and a ticket for the upcoming film. Or to be a little bit more specific, you are getting Assassin's Creed 2, Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Assassin's Creed Revelations, every single player add-on content for all 3 games. However, on the downside is that there is no online multiplayer support. And of course, you also get 2 short films. The short films is where you get to learn about Ezio's childhood and of course his final days in the complete Assassin's Creed Lineage and the Assassin's Creed Embers short film. And of course, for a special time offer, you also get a voucher to go see the upcoming Assassin's Creed movie coming out in late December. So overall, pretty much if you are a huge Assassin's Creed fan or never got into the series, this is actually a pretty well done package, and for only $60, and it's pretty much telling the tale of Ezio Auditore. And pretty much I don't want to go into deeper of the storyline because I feel like I may leave spoilers, even though these are technically older games. But let's go ahead and jump into the visual aspect. Now next up, I want to go ahead and talk about the graphics. Now unfortunately, I don't have any way to show you guys how the graphics look from back in the day and what they look like now, because the gameplay footages that you're going to be seeing throughout this review is based on current gen, it's more specifically the Xbox One copy. And pretty much the best way I could describe this is that on the remastered editions, you have a lot more color, a lot more detail. The games are running at 30 frames. Unfortunately, they did not add any 60 frames functionality between any of the 3 games, which I felt like was a missed opportunity. But pretty much the best way I could describe it, how the games looked back in the day, or in this case more specifically Assassin's Creed 2. Assassin's Creed 2 back in the day looked like it has some type of filter on it, like a blue filter, but when you play it now on the remastered edition, there's just a lot more wide array of colors going on within the environments. You can see more detail within the character animations. Not only that, even the draw distances look a lot better. Like for example, climbing up on the tallest tower on any of the 3 games will look like there's a fog effect where you can't see that far. However, playing the remastered edition, you can now see that distance. You can see the mountains on the very end. You can see the detail that's happening across the land. It's just really nice things like that. It's just subtle changes that give it a lot more color, more lifelike vibrance, which I think was definitely much needed, and one that I think, you know, past Assassin's Creed players who grew up playing these games are really going to enjoy for the remastered edition. Now next up, I want to go ahead and talk about the gameplay. One thing I do want to say though, it's not near perfect because there are several glitches that at least that I had to deal with, and which hopefully do get patched eventually. So I just want to kind of let you guys know right off the bat. So pretty much the way the gameplay is that Assassin's Creed never really changed much in terms of the gameplay, but we have seen improvements with later installments, of course, where, you know, a lot of the gameplay elements, stealth mechanics, especially when it comes to dropping down from heights or climbing, has been much more improved as time went on. So playing from the latest installment going to the older games definitely threw me off quite a bit because it didn't seem as fluid, which is perfectly fine because that's how it was back in the day. I kind of wish they would have upgraded the controls a little bit, but then again, it might have upset some of the actual hardcore fans of the series. Now what's nice too is that depending on which one you're playing at the time, so in this case if you're playing in order from Assassin's Creed 2 to Brotherhood to Revelations, you're going to notice that you're going to have new abilities and new things that you get to try out. Like for example, when you go from Assassin's Creed 2 to Brotherhood, you're going to find out in Brotherhood is that you could actually form a brotherhood. So you get to hire people to bring into the Assassin's Guild, train them, be involved in more activities, and then when you go from Assassin's Creed Brotherhood all the way to Revelations, not only do you have the return of the Brotherhood system, which of course has been revamped and improved, but of course you also have new gadgets like different bombs that you can craft and create. And of course also one of my personal favorites that a lot of people don't seem to like, which of course is the hook blade, which of course is helpful for basically climbing different buildings. able to reach ledges that you won't be able to reach otherwise, being able to use that to kind of zip line down the ropes and do basically attacks from above, and of course other elements like that. And of course another personal favorite is that when you're on the run, you can do a hook and run technique, which I find useful a lot, especially when you happen to be outnumbered by a lot of guards. Of course you can do the same basic movements where you do a simple block and counter attack to get a kind of an instant kill. So again, there's a variety of different things that you can do here, and depending on which one you have, you'll have access to a lot more new things or less, depending on, especially if you're starting from Assassin's Creed 2 for example. But overall, the gameplay mechanics are a lot of fun. However, as I mentioned, there are several bugs that kind of kept my experience down a little bit. Like there was a couple instances where I had to climb a specific tower to ignite because I just got done taking over this Templar base. However, for whatever reason, there was like a graphical error or something that caused my character not able to climb up something that he should easily be able to climb up. Just things like that. Just a few bugs here and there which hopefully do end up getting patched. But again, the gameplay elements here are a lot of fun. So if there's any title here that you've played in the past that you've enjoyed, you're going to find that same enjoyment here, but of course with the visual enhancements from the graphical era. Now going over the sound portion between all three games, overall the sound design is actually quite well done. The voice acting was really well done between all three titles, and of course if there's one thing that I really enjoy is that I love to listen to Ezio. Anytime he's talking, whether it be during gameplay or cinematic moments, just any point in time where he's speaking and oftentimes using his language as well, pronouncing different words, he's just a really nice guy to listen to, and of course he happens to be one of my personal favorite characters between the franchises. Not only that, let us not forget the amazing soundtracks that Assassin's Creed has always been known for, at least in my personal opinion have been known for, and one of my personal favorites to listen to, which was briefly at the start of this review, of course, is the iconic Assassin's Creed 2 Ezio's theme. Just being able to listen to that over and over again, along with other portions within the track, is just pleasant to listen to. Oftentimes, I'm not even playing the game. I'll just climb the highest tower and listen to what's going on within the environments, and of course, listening to the music. Now next up, I want to go ahead and talk about the lifespan. Overall, you actually do have a pretty good lifespan between this collection, because again, you have 3 games that has all their single player DLC content, and of course you have 2 short films. I mean, sure, the short films aren't really going to have like replay value, but it's always nice to go back and rewatch them just in case if you missed anything or there might be an Easter egg. But specifically the games between Assassin's Creed 2 all the way to Revelations, there's a lot of activity to do, especially if you're the type of person who is a completionist. Again, not only do you have the main storyline to do, but you also have different side activities to participate in, shops to purchase, especially depending on what title you're playing in the time. You have numerous amounts of collectibles altogether. So again, you are going to find yourself there for who knows how many hours. I mean, I can't really guess as to the amount of hours that you might want to put into, especially if you're a hardcore fan of this and if you're a completionist. Again, just a lot of things to do that you're definitely going to get your money's worth out of this, regardless whether or not you are a huge fan or just someone who's new to Assassin's Creed in general. Now, going over the innovation is actually quite simple, because again, you're going from what we had back in the day from last gen to current gen. The innovation is actually quite simple. First off, in the remastered edition, we have a lot more textures, colors being incorporated into the game. We have an increase of the game's resolution going up to 1080p, meaning that we have more detail within the characters and the environments. On top of that, you have every single player DLC content incorporated into this one package instead of having to buy things separately. And of course, the only other negative thing in here is that unfortunately you don't have any support for online multiplayer, because they took that out completely just for a single player experience only. But overall, I've really enjoyed this experience. It's kind of nice to go back to play some of my favorite titles growing up, and especially because Ezio's storyline just happens to be one of my personal favorites. The only negative side that I really have for the game is that I felt like it's a really missed opportunity to not include a 60 frames per second, again only being locked at 30 frames for the general collection between all 3 games. And of course, the other thing too is some of the graphical problems that tends to have, which hopefully gets fixed, especially with some issues were kind of prevented me from continuing within the storyline, and I had to do a lot of weird mixed things to kind of being able to progress even further and to kind of find a bypass, I should say. But overall, this is a nice collection. So again, if you played this in the past, it's kind of a nice collection to get. If you're new to Assassin's Creed, again, you shouldn't feel lost playing this one. I just feel like you're going to have a great deal for the amount of money you spent, $60. Again, 3 games, 2 short films, and even a movie ticket for the upcoming film in December. I mean, you just can't really ask for better than that. But overall, I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 rating. But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you guys next time.